time.
Alright, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Underestimated Podcast. It is your host, Jeremy, or back with another episode. So in today's episode, as you see, thumbnail title, we're going to be talking about Kyler Murray. I was very iffy on still putting this episode out because so the initial plan was to talk about what would be next for Kyler Murray after the Cardinals released him, because I was literally in the middle of working, actually announcing my university's baseball game, and then the news broke out in like the fourth inning of the game or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but that's just my hypothetical guess. And so I'm like, wow. And so I was like, boom, that gives me something to talk about. And then, with things like that, you kind of have to do it rapidly because you never know when they can sign, right? And I've done, this with like Tyreek Hill, and it wasn't going to be like that. It was just going to be like what I think would be the next for Kyler Murray and discussing some teams that I thought would have worked for him. And I'm kind of going to discuss that a little bit in here too, but not full on because he has already signed. And so one thing I've learned in one of my courses this semester, I think it's either communication ethics or writing across media platforms, one of the two. One of them talks about the importance of timeliness, right? And how if something happens today and you decide to report on it or put out any sort of content towards it 3 months from now, then it has nowhere near as the same amount of relevancy as it once did when you first put it out. And so I've done that a lot because, I'm constantly, every day I'm finding out stuff. But it's like, what do I want to talk about? What do I feel I should give my thoughts on? And so Kyler Murray immediately was for sure something I wanted to talk about because I kind of like Kyler Murray. It's just that, I kind of forgot how much I like Kyler Murray because I haven't seen him really play in so long because the last couple of years it's been a whole lot of inconsistency due to injury and, roster and just organizational structure, just a whole lot of things just not being in Kyler Murray's favor in the past 2 or 3 seasons or so. And so I think, all right, I had a thumbnail already made. It was like, boom, we're going to talk about, what's next for Kyler Murray. And it's something that I run into when I plan ahead is that, once I actually get the opportunity, because I'm not always able to just record that same day or a couple of days later, and once I do get that chance, it's like, oh, something's already happened. Now I got to either scratch it or find a way to work around it. And luckily, I found a way to work around this to where I can be okay with it. So, yeah, because I was thinking about, because there's so many things that's happened. You got Jalen Waddle got traded to the Broncos today. DJ Moore's heading to the Bills. Trey Hendrickson is going to the Ravens. Max Crosby was supposed to be on his way to the Ravens, but he failed his physical. So now he, as of today and for the foreseeable future, is going to be a Las Vegas Raider. So it's just like, oh man, I can go so many directions with this. So what my plan is we're going to talk about Kyler Murray here only in this episode. What I will do is, once I feel like free agency is basically over, I was kind of doing some research and I said that free agency basically ends once training camp starts. Because free agency never really ends, like, you know what I mean? Like until like the playoffs or something, really. But I guess what I'll do is, and I'm saying this now in advance so I can kind of, hold myself accountable for it. Because it shouldn't be something that ends up biting me, in the butt later on. So I'm gonna do an episode where I grade every NFL team's offseason, and I think that'll kind of gave me an opportunity to speak on everything that's going on instead of putting out these one by ones. But I had to. I feel like I had to talk about Tyreek, and I feel like I had to talk about Kyler. So I'm gonna give those two guys their individual respect. But then I will get everyone squared away once the offseason is pretty much died down and over with. All right, that's out the way. Let's talk Kyler Murray. Okay, so I was so close to scratching this, but I'm glad I didn't. So he got released. Okay, so Kyler Murray was officially released on March the 11th, but news broke out about it happening, I believe, on like the 5th or the 6th, and then he actually signed a day later with the Minnesota Vikings. So Kyler Murray is not a Minnesota Viking. I do like this for Kyler. I do think when you think about Kyler Murray having the opportunity to throw to Justin Jefferson, who is in desperate need of some upper echelon quarterback play, and then Jordan Addison, I believe TJ Hawkinson's still on that team. And then, he has Aaron Jones out of the backfield toting the rock. So he's in a good situation. It just makes me very uncertain in terms of the direction in which the Minnesota Vikings kind of want to take things, because all right, so you have Sam Darnold as your backup a couple of years ago. You draft JJ McCarthy, I believe, with the ninth or the 10th overall pick. JJ McCarthy goes down with ACL injury. He's out for the year. Sam Darnold steps in, leads you to a 14-3 season, and absolutely puts up a stinker against, I believe, either the 49ers or the Rams in the playoffs that season. And then you let him walk in free agency. Thank you, Minnesota, for doing that, because we ended up getting him. And then he goes on to win a Super Bowl championship. Now, granted, I will say that obviously we help Sam Darnold out a lot in our cases. The fact that we have, I'm just gonna say it, the best defense in the NFL. I mean, we did. I mean, we lost a lot of people, so don't know if I'll be able to say that once next season starts. But at this very moment, I'm gonna keep it because we just won the Super Bowl. But that is very questionable, because you're putting a lot of faith, which I understand the slight delusional factor that you might have to take into account, because this is your 10th overall pick. Like, you kind of have to really keep things going until they crash and burn on their own. And now, I think this is a great opportunity for JJ as well, because now this gives JJ an opportunity to learn from Kyler. So, yeah, I think this team can be really, really good. And I think, obviously defense plays a part. They say offense sells tickets and wins you games, but defense is what's going to win you a championship. And they got some pieces. But I definitely think we don't put the Minnesota Vikings as one of the top defenses in the league. So they got to fix some kinks on that side of the ball. But in terms for Kyler, I like this for Kyler a lot. This is a 1-year deal for him on a veteran's minimum, but it's not. So the thing is, he's signing a veteran minimum with Minnesota, but the Cardinals still owe him a ton of money. So he's still good. He's pretty much playing with house money, if anything. And so this is kind of like a year where Kyler Murray is like really betting on himself to get back to that Kyler Murray that we all know, Pro Bowl, caliber Kyler Murray, first overall pick worthy Kyler Murray. And I think he still got it, man. It's, of course they see all the things about him where, he's short, undersized, but Like, he's overcome all of it and has shown that he is a prominent quarterback in the NFL. Like, you can make the argument that Kyler Murray is a top 10 quarterback when healthy. Would I would have to actually make a list of every quarterback healthy and then see where I would put him. But I definitely think he wouldn't drop past. If he doesn't make top 10, he's definitely not dropping past 15. I don't think when healthy you could name me 16 quarterbacks better than Kyler Murray. And so you're talking about a Minnesota Vikings team. And the crazy thing about this is I saw a stat the other day that still baffled me and just shows how great this guy is. Justin Jefferson did not have consistent high level quarterback play last season. He still managed to reach 1,000 yards. And now just think, he has Kyler Murray throwing him the football now. So I think 1,000 yard season is guaranteed for Justin Jefferson next season. And honestly, if Jordan Addison finds a way to crack 1,000 uh, next season, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. Because I think Kyler Murray can just do that much. And then you gotta also think, who is his play caller? Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell's the head coach. And we all know the type of things that he is able to draw up in terms of offense. And Kyler, you gotta remember, Kyler Murray is also, a baseball player. So he's able to make plays at quarterback simply because he has that dual sport, factor that just happens sometimes. And it's crazy because I actually saw a report that the Oakland A's were interested in bringing back or bringing in officially Kyler Murray to play baseball. And I didn't really think it was. I mean, I thought there was maybe a chance, but I just felt like it was so many more opportunities for him in the NFL. And then you go into the Oakland A's, like you're gonna leave the NFL for the Oakland A's, which I agree. Like, one thing I do get now and I understand is that baseball money is different. That baseball money is different. Like, granted, I didn't really realize it until, like, granted, the top guys in every sport get their money, but I think once Shohei Ohtani signed his new deal, that's when I was like, yeah, that baseball money is different. So then again, when I take that into account, I wouldn't have been mad if Kyler Murray did it. Like, you gotta feed your family, you gotta put food on the table. So I absolutely get that. But is this the best fit for him? I don't know. I mean, despite having not the best season last season, Minnesota still went 9-8. Um, so you got to look at it. Packers went 9-7. Um, Detroit went 9-8 as well. So I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's. Mm, I don't even know because I know how good Kyler Murray is when healthy because I've seen it. And I understand it can very well be a case of what have you done for me lately, but I'm not ready to just say with 1,000% confidence that I'm taking a healthy Kyler Murray over a healthy Jordan Love. Like, I think when these two guys square off 2 times a year now, those games are gonna be cinema. I cannot wait. Now that I'm looking at the the divisions, I cannot wait to see Kyler Murray and Jordan Love square off twice a year. Now the thing about that is too, In those games, he's going to have Michael Parsons on his backside every single snap. So that's a factor. But I mean, Kyler understands that he's undersized. He can get out of that pocket. It takes like a split second for him to and get up out of there. So I mean, I know Michael could probably get him. Michael might have 3 sacks in that game, to be honest, but it won't be like a nightmarish sort of night for Kyler Murray by any means. But I mean, like you looking across the league, right? What else could have been a possibility? Like you got Miami, because Miami released Tua, even though now they have signed Malik Willis. Um, you got Pittsburgh. I mean, don't know the plans of what Aaron Rodgers wants to do next season, so there's that. Got the Cleveland Browns. I think Shador, and people have argued me down on this, and I don't know. I'm just going down that hill, but I think Shador Sanders is worthy enough of being the starting quarterback for the Browns. But I mean, I don't know. I can't say that the organization has that faith in Shador Sanders. Now, they are thankfully under a new coach. I can't think of his name right now. I can it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't. Anyway, and the GM loves him. Kevin Ollie loves him, and the coach actually Todd Monken. That's his name. Todd Monken. Todd Monken actually likes Shador Sanders because there's a clip that I saw when he first got hired, and he got to meet Shador or whatever, and he was like, "Man, I'm glad I finally got you," because for those of you that don't know, Shador Sanders was actually going to be drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, but he did not want to go because he didn't want to play. He didn't want to back up Lamar Jackson. Because I mean, I can think about it. Who's starting over Lamar Jackson? Unless Lamar gets hurt, nobody else is wearing that Ravens jersey, that number 8, than Lamar Jackson, and going out there on the field and getting behind center. So I understand that. So I mean, looks like the coach has faith in him, but I don't know. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be surprised if Shador Sanders is not the starting quarterback on opening day for the Cleveland Browns next season. And yeah, I've been seeing several reports saying that they are still out there looking for a veteran quarterback to come in. And I mean, Deshaun Watson's coming back. Dylan Gabriel's still in the mix. Well, they got a lot of things to sort out in terms of their quarterback heading forward. So just going down the list, I mean, you got Las Vegas. So looks like Las Vegas is gonna take Mendoza #1, but I have seen something that I thought was very interesting. So I don't think it's something that I have seen in my lifetime of watching football, but it's sort of bringing the tradition and like the modern sort of feel back to sports a little bit, and saying that even if the Raiders do draft Fernando Mendoza #1, they are not opposed to letting him sit a year. Like they're not automatically gonna just let him start right out the bat. And I thought that was so interesting because you don't see that anymore. If you go #1, you're playing immediately. Ain't nobody letting you sit for a year if you get drafted #1. And so I thought that was so unique. So I mean, you look at Las Vegas. Say they were to draft Mendoza, right? And then you pick up Kyler Murray. Now you give Mendoza the opportunity to sit a year and learn behind Kyler Murray. It's also the Falcons. Um, would have been a pretty good fit, I believe. Obviously, you got Bijan toting the rock, um, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Targets to throw to. Coaching is a bit suspect. Defense is pretty solid. I'd say they're mid. I'd say they're average. But I think decent enough to at least win them some games if Kyler Murray were their quarterback. But now they have their own thing going on because they signed Tua and excuse me, they have Michael Penix, of course, and now those two are going to be dueling for a QB1. So that's going to be interesting. New Orleans. I think if he went to New Orleans, he would have got a starting job. And you're talking about Chris Olave to throw to, and then Alvin Kamara to run the ball, and now Travis Etienne because he is now a New Orleans Saint. Yeah, I mean, I don't think in a logical world you're gonna send out Schiff, Tyler whatever. I think it's Tyler Shaw, um, and then Spencer Rattler, who that's my guy. If anybody knows me, knows how much I love Spencer Rattler. But I think he's worked himself out of the starting job. Sadly, I think he's worked himself out of the starting job. But yeah, I think Kyler Murray for sure would have won that starting job if he had headed to NOLA. And then yeah, that's the rest of it. Those are the only teams that I think he might have had a shot. So I think of all those things considered, yeah, maybe Minnesota was the best option for him. Um, so I think they have a legit chance because you talk about a division that has Green Bay, Detroit, and Chicago all in the same division with the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think Chicago actually is, now that I think about it, going to be interesting. Now that DJ Moore is a Buffalo Bill, so um, Caleb Williams' number one target is now gone, and now that will, I'm assuming, force Rome Odunze to become that number one and Luther Burden to be that number two. But I'm sure um, they're going to pick up a receiver in one of the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft this season, or this year rather. Green Bay, permitting health, they should be a 10 win team. And Detroit surprised me a lot last year because I mean, yeah, they seem like Detroit always dealing with injuries, but I think that's a pretty tough conference. I mean, division. That's a pretty tough division. When like everyone healthy, that is a pretty tough division. You're talking about a division that has Kyler Murray now, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, and Jared Goff, who all have to play each other twice a year. Insane. But you could legit make the argument that all of those teams could win 10 games. I don't know. Maybe Minnesota with Kyler might win 9 games. But I think they have a chance to at least get that second spot in the in their division. Question is that gonna be good enough to earn them a spot in the playoffs? So yeah, this is gonna be very interesting to see how this um plays out for the Minnesota Vikings, but also for the Arizona Cardinals because now they have to have someone to play quarterback. Where can they go? I mean, you go try to get Kirk Cousins. I mean, I'm not opposed to Kirk Cousins and Marvin Harrison Jr. Um, do you try to go get someone in the draft like a Ty Simpson? You know, So it's very interesting moving forward for both parties. And I mean, Kyler is geeked about going to Minnesota. I seen him post a picture of him as a kid playing for, I'm assuming, Little League. And his team was called the Vikings, and they were white and purple, just like the Vikings are now. And I believe he said that he was once a Minnesota Vikings fan as a kid. So I think obviously that was a very integral part to him wanting to sign with the Minnesota Vikings. I think Justin Jefferson also, you know, in all honesty, is a lot more excited because he's taken up a lot for JJ McCarthy. He's like, regardless, like I'm sticking with him. I'm not giving up on him. That's my quarterback. But let's be honest, I think we all know, and he may not admit it, but I'm sure he's happier knowing that he has Kyler Murray throwing him the football this season as opposed to JJ McCarthy or anyone else. Um, so yeah, that's about all I have. This is an exciting month. Spring break is over. Um, back back at it. Back in the books for another. I think we got like 6 weeks left, and then it's summer, and then should really get the ball rolling then. But I mean, we'll see. Um, yeah, so this is gonna come out tomorrow at noon, and then Wednesday. Mentally, I think I wanna talk about Team USA baseball, because they should be playing right now, against Venezuela, and I think they're gonna get the dub. So fingers crossed. Friday's episode will be me talking about Team USA winning the World Baseball Classic. So, and also, good news. I believe. Let me look at the numbers to be sure. Let's see here. Okay. We are approaching nearly 9,000 views, lifetime views on the channel. Obviously, majority of that comes from the shorts, but I know I always say if one of y'all watch, if five of y'all watch, if a million of y'all watch, and as long as I'm helping and aiding someone, that's just always my goal. As long as it touches one person, then my job is done. And then I believe we also got to 250 streams and downloads on Spotify. I got that notification today, and I was like, oh, that's a thing. All right, that's great. So y'all know me. I'll take any small one I can get. I'm never complaining about it. So thank y'all so much for the endless support. I mean, I know I've been inconsistent, and that's just been me. But I try to give it my best. I truly try to give it my all. And yeah, that is pretty much it for me. You know, comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you are a Spotify listener, rate the channel, rate the podcast a 5 star, and stream, download, share with everyone. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I didn't even realize that this was the episode too, but yeah, y'all know the number. I'm not gonna do it. It's old now, but yeah. Appreciate y'all watching. Always remember, don't underestimate. Appreciate.